All right, everyone, thank you very much. I'd like to call the meeting to order, February 13th, 2023 meeting to order at 5 p.m. I'd like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. The first motion moved by Councillor Bellemare and seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. We don't have any amendments listed. Are there any from members of council? Seeing none, I'd like to call for the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Holy cow. That's just to let you know. Moved by Councillor Daly and seconded by Councillor Sticilo. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular council meeting agenda as amended. As presented, sorry. All those in favor, please indicate. Thank you. And moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular council meeting agenda as presented. So, all those in favor? Thank you. Carried. Motion by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, the regular council meeting from January 23rd, 2023. Are there any comments from council about any of things listed in those meeting minutes? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Hi, Emma. I move to the next agenda item, moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the delegation from RCMP Staff Sergeant Ray Campbell. Staff Sergeant, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship and delegation. I am here on your behalf and to make my reports that I gave a while ago to your city manager. There's nothing out of the ordinary that's an anomaly in respect to the past quarterly reports that I give, other than this quarterly report has less numbers per se compared to the last quarter, which was through the summer, so that would make a difference. Dauphin compared to the city of Dauphin compared to our rural area is we have 75% of the calls are within the municipality compared to our component outside. Our mental health act is still fairly high, even though we're coming out of COVID for some time now, but the numbers are dwindling compared to what they have been in the past reports. Mischief seems to be high right now with people wandering around. I think our winter was fairly mild so far, so we've had more people transient walking around. Our building under one roof where we have people that can facilitate themselves through the night to get out of the cold certainly is helping us as well. That's something we haven't had in years past, which is noticeably improvement for us as well as the health services, I presume, because traditionally the ambulance or the hospital would call us, and we'd unfortunately sometimes have to get people to stay with us, even though the parameters weren't what they should have been, but we want to keep people safe and warm. And this safe and warm spot has certainly helped our community by far. I don't have anything more that is standing out unless your delegation or of you have questions for me.
I'm certain that there'll be some questions. Councillor Bellemare?
Hi. We've talked a lot about the mental health transfers and the need for some changes because that takes up a lot of your time. Are you catching wind that there might be any changes afoot, or is it still sort of business as usual?
It's still business as usual. We haven't heard anything differently that somebody else or somebody, other organization or some provincial organization will step up to the plate. We're still doing mental health transfers as well as remanded prisoners on the off hours.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments for the staff sergeant from anyone? Lisa, is there anything that you have as?
I just would ask if you have any involvement with Citizens on Patrol. Is there any interconnection there with that organization, or are they a completely separate entity?
They are self-sufficient, but we do have a member within our detachment that liaises with them and stays in tune with what they're doing. It's certainly a good program. They've been out. It's not as much as they like to see them, but they're all volunteers, so they can only commit to time when they have time to give. The Ride Alone, our ride program, it is obviously gone since the New Year's has passed us, and it was successful as well this year. We've missed that for the last couple of years due to COVID. So
Thank you. I know that we have a protective services meeting coming up shortly, and we'll have a discussion about some other stuff. I just wondering if there's anything, just from your point of view, generally that you wanted to say about the last quarter in terms of what's been going on, other than the statistics indicate some things. But is there anything from a staffing perspective, or just a call out incidents of any sort that you might want to bring us up to speed on?
yeah, as far as the reports, nothing. But yeah, we're in unprecedented times in the RCMP, like any other organizations and businesses. Our numbers are dwindled, and there's no replacements in sight. Our depot in Regina is certainly open, but we're certainly not getting the numbers to fill the vacancies we have. So in the next 2 or 3 years, I predict is going to be status quo. There's going to be vacancies, and they're hard vacancies with spots that are open because we have the north as well, that we have isolated communities that have to be filled. So these bigger municipalities and communities that have members, unfortunately, they're going to strain it. And to offset that, we also have paternity and maternity and, illnesses and surgeries as such. So there's unfortunately not an end in sight at this point, but we prioritize our business and do the best we can with what we have.
Okay, appreciate that. Last call, council. Any other questions or comments from anyone? If not, thank you very much.
No, thank
Staff
you.
Sergeant, for coming
I'll
out.
see you Wednesday again.
Yep, thanks very much. So can I just call for an indication of just to approve Staff Sergeant's report to us, please? All those in favor? Thank you. I'd like to move to the next item on the agenda, the consent agenda. We've got a number of different action items and some filing items. I'll go through the action items first. There are several outstanding water accounts that have been added to taxes. So be it resolved that the following water accounts be added to taxes. Roll number 011100 in the amount of $262.37. The tenants did not pay their final utility bill. The same for roll number 021570 in the amount of $159.33. So those two accounts totaled $421.70, and that's as recommended by the Director of Finance and the Utility Clerk. We have a number of different filing items that were presented. The Association of Manitoba Municipalities, several bulletins from January 20th, 2023 and February 3rd, 2023, and a member advisory from the Manitoba Water Strategy on engagement sessions with various municipalities. We also have some items from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, their FCM Connect from January 24th, 31st, and February 7th, the FCM Voice from January 23rd, February 6th, and the Municipal Marketplace of January 30th, 2023. There were several news releases from the provincial government. The Premier had a news release regarding the carbon tax relief fund. The Premier also had a release regarding the recruitment of internationally educated nurses. Department of Families had a release regarding the eligibility fund. Environment, Climate and Parks, a release regarding provincial park entry. The Premier also had a release regarding the Métis Federation and change to the status regarding citizenship cards. We have some information from Municipal Relations, the Planning Act Handbook, Mountain View School Division, 2 news digests from January 16th and January 30th. There was some materials presented to the city from the Multi-Material Stewardship Manitoba indication, a release from Parks Canada regarding the opening of Highway 19 and Riding Mountain National Park, a notice from the Office of the Lieutenant Governor in regards to Indigenous communities in the arts. We have the Prairie Mountain Health newsletter, Health Plus newsletter from February 2023, and a certificate from Canadian National Railway acknowledging Dauphin with their ambassador certificate regarding rail safety. Those are all as recommended by the mayor and the city manager. So moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan and seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that all items listed in red under item 5C, the consent agenda, be approved and form part of these minutes. Can I ask for comments or questions regarding anything included in the consent agenda? Seeing none, I call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Thank you. Opposed? None. Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Stakilo and seconded by Councillor Sobring. Be resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the February 13th regular council meeting, and that's the report from our city manager, the January 2023 report. Questions or comments regarding the information in that report? No one has anything to... All right then, I'd like to call for that for the question. All those in favor of accepting that report? Opposed? None. Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor or Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the February 13th meeting from the Deputy City Manager for January. The Deputy City Manager is here. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Lisa? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Report accepted. And moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobring. Be it resolved that the finance accounts having been examined by council be hereby authorized and approved as follows. We had 100 checks from 30981 to numbers 31083 in the amount of $724,119.38. We had 3 voided checks in the range, all due to checks being damaged. February 9th, check number 31070 to RJM Enterprises for $353.25. February 9th, check 31071, the arm of Dauphin, $530.44. And on the same date, check number 31072, Sammy's Farm Supply, $964.22. There were no voided checks in the past range, and there were no electronic payments. Any questions or comments regarding the financial report from anyone? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following engineering staff report for the February 13th council meeting, and that's the January report from our building inspector. Any questions or comments regarding that report? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Thank you. And moved by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for the February 13th meeting from the bylaw enforcement officer. That was the report for January. Questions there, Councillor Bellemare.
Yes, with regards to the parking notices, there were 14 parking notices issued, and I know we had asked our bylaw enforcement officer to, you know, add parking to his duties. So any comments on the kind of parking notices or parking infractions that he is noticing out there and giving notices for?
Yes, he's certainly been out there doing his regular patrols and really ramping up his visibility out there in the community and checking on parking infractions. And as he issues tickets, a photo of the license plate and the area where the ticket was located is sent through to my email, so I review them as they come in. And most of them are for parking in a prohibited zone, so usually in a no parking zone. And once again, over at the hospital, it's a concern on 7th Avenue. There are people parking in the no parking spots there, so that's been an area of concern.
Any other questions regarding the bylaw officer's report? Nope, seeing none. I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed, thank you. Moved by Councillor Sobering and seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the protective service report from the animal control officer for January of 2023. Questions or comments regarding the report from the animal control? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? None carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the minutes and reports from the following committees. We had a Riverside Cemetery regular board meeting from December the 6th. Fort Dauphin Museum, their regular board meeting on December the 7th. Their manager's report from February. The profit and loss budget for January to December of 2022 and January to February of 2023. And some balance sheet comparisons as of December 31st and the balance sheet previous year comparisons as of February the 1st, 2023. The Dauphin and District Handy Van Association had their regular board meeting, presented their minutes from January 24th. Rec Services had their board meeting from January 25th, and the Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal Corporation, their regular board meeting also January the 25th. Any questions or comments regarding any of these minutes or reports? Councillor Sobering.
Just one regarding the Dauphin District Handy Van. We're currently looking for drivers. So I think like a lot of organizations, we're trying to look for people, qualified people to drive the vans. And so if anyone has somebody that would be a good candidate, please forward them on to the Dauphin District Handy Van Association, myself.
Class 4 required for that?
Just a normal driver's license. Yeah, no special license required.
Thank you, Councillor Sobering. Any other questions or comments regarding any of those organizations? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Daly. Whereas the regulations of Manitoba's Emergency Measures Act requires municipal emergency plans to be reviewed and updated annually, and at the regular meeting of December 12th, Council approved the 2023 Municipal Emergency Plan for the City of Dauphin, and the rural municipality of Dauphin is reviewed and updated by both municipalities. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated January 19th from Bob Shkaritka, Regional Emergency Manager for Manitoba Emergency Measures Organization, advising that the 2023 Municipal Emergency Plan for the City of Dauphin and the rural municipality of Dauphin has been approved as submitted to the province. Questions, comments regarding this motion? I'd just like to indicate that Councillor Ray and myself and Charla attended the EMO presentation last week, and I think that it was fairly well presented, and there was most of the municipalities were present and participated, And it appears that as the EMO department with the provincial government seems to be getting staffed up, that we might have a little bit better support from them. And Bob is a really good guy. And so there was all of their regional guys, regional staff were present. And although it was a long day, it was fairly well done, actually. And it was probably a good thing that we were there. I don't know, Councillor Ray, is there anything you wanted to add? Or
Yeah, I was just gonna mention in my report, but I'll do so then. Thanks.
all right then, so I'd like to call for the question then. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas on April 27th, 2020, the City of Dauphin entered into a purchase agreement with Blue Hills Holding for the sale of property at 103 Oak Avenue, with the agreement specifying a purchase price of $26,300 plus GST, and a condition that if the development was not complete within 24 months of the date of purchase, the property would be transferred back to the City of Dauphin at the cost of the purchaser. And whereas, in correspondence dated April 27th, 2022, Jillian and Patrick Sullivan and Robin and Jason Sneath of Blue Hills Holdings Limited requested an extension to the purchase agreement deadline to allow them an additional 18 months to complete the proposed construction of a fourplex dwelling unit, noting that the project had been temporarily delayed due to the significant increase in the cost of building materials and the closure of the Dauphin division of Sneath Projects. And whereas, at the regular council meeting of May 9th, 2022, Council granted an extension to the purchase agreement deadline for construction to be completed at 103 Oak Avenue for an additional 18 months to October 27th, 2023. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated January 24th, 2023 from Robin Sneath, CEO, Sneath Group, and a memorandum dated February 2nd from the Deputy City Manager outlining the request for a second extension to the purchase agreement deadline for construction be completed at 103 Oak Avenue to facilitate the resale of this property, which is currently listed at $27,900. Be it further resolved that Council denies the request for a second extension to the purchase agreement deadline for the completion of construction, given that Blue Hills Holdings has been provided 3.5 years to fulfill the terms of the agreement, and with the resumption of building and development coming out of the pandemic, conditions are now more favorable to the development or resale of this property. Any other comments or questions from Council regarding this resolution? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas under the Accessibility for Manitobans Act, municipalities currently must meet accessibility standards related to customer service and employment and must adopt an accessibility plan to be reviewed and updated every 2 years. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the updated accessibility plan for the City of Dauphin and a memorandum dated January 20th from the Deputy City Manager affirming the city's commitment to providing inclusive access to all municipal spaces, services, and information, and recommending that the plan be approved. Further be it resolved that Council approves the City of Dauphin's updated accessibility plan for the 2-year period of 2023 and 2024. Any questions, comments, or added information to this resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas in 2019, Health Canada changed the testing location and maximum acceptable level of lead in drinking water. And whereas while the water produced at the City of Dauphin's water treatment plant meets all national and provincial standards for drinking water, approximately 450 properties in Dauphin were identified in 2018 to have lead service lines connecting between the main water line and the property's water meter, which could potentially contribute to the presence of lead in drinking water at these locations. And whereas at the regular meeting of May 30th, 2022, Council approved a $1,000 lead service line rebate incentive for property owners choosing to hire the City of Dauphin to replace their portion of the lead service line, the property line to the water meter, with this incentive to be reviewed at the end of 2022. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated February 2nd from the Deputy City Manager, noting the success of the city's $1,000 lead service line rebate incentive in helping remove lead connections from Dauphin's water service network, and recommending that this incentive program be extended through 2023 and beyond until such time as the program is deemed to be no longer necessary to address lead in Dauphin's drinking water. Further be it resolved that council agrees with the Deputy City Manager's recommendation and approves the $1,000 lead service line rebate incentive program be continued through 2023 and beyond until such time as the program is deemed to be no longer necessary to address lead in Dauphin's drinking water. Questions, comments, or Councillor Bellemare?
I just wanted to make a comment because in our package, we had copies of all the letters sent to people who received results on the lead testing that had been taking place with the sampling. And I thought the letters were very helpfully written. There were lots of good suggestions about things to do and where to get more information. And so I just thought that I would point out that I thought those were good letters.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, because ultimately, it is an education process too. We want to make sure people are aware, and ultimately we want people to help themselves to mitigate lead in their own drinking water. So that's the purpose of the letters as well.
Councillor Sobering?
Do we have any idea of how many lead lines are left? Do we have an inventory?
We have an approximate inventory. There would be probably close to the 400 mark now after the last 6 years of since we've started identifying them.
Okay, thanks.
And can I ask Mike, what's been the uptake, or has there been a response? I know the letters just went out, but in regards to some of the property owners that either were involved in the incentive or not, but has there been much communication or much interest from any of the locals?
I haven't received any word from any of the ones that the recent letters went out for, although I do know that there was multiple who this past year replaced their lead lines after the testing occurred. So they hadn't even received those results yet, but they had replaced their lines proactively.
It's good to hear. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Call for the question then. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? No, none. Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Whereas the City of Dauphin enters into an annual sponsorship agreement with Dauphin's Country Fest, which outlines the benefits and obligations for both organizations during the spectacular community event each year. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the current sponsorship agreement between the City of Dauphin and Dauphin's Country Fest, and a memorandum dated February 9th from the marketing coordinator recommending approval of this multi-year agreement covering the festival for 2023, 2024, and 2025, which outlines the city's contributions to an estimated value of $14,000, including use of the city's sewage lagoon, secondary garbage truck, jackhammer truck, blading of roads, landfill tipping fees, and promotion of Country Fest events in return to Country Fest recognizing Tourism Dauphin and their promotions. Further be resolved that council agrees with the marketing coordinator's recommendation and authorizes the multi-year sponsorship agreement with Dauphin's Country Fest for 2023, 2024, and 2025 to be signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Questions, comments regarding the resolution? I just would like to add before we vote that in the presentation last week from Tourism Manitoba on their summary reports of the communities that were involved in their rebranding exercise, that the Northgate site and Ukraine Festival and Country Fest were indicated as our three bolder events or three bolder opportunities or initiatives. And so it just makes good sense that the city will continue to support the two festivals and the site to help enhance our tourism and marketing future. So I'd just like to call for the question then. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? None. Carried. Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, and seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas Kia Communities in Motion has invested $1.4 million over 4 years to support community-led projects that move people forward through equitable, innovative solutions grounded in the concept of movement. And whereas the Parkland Ukrainian Family Fund, made up of an energized and passionate contingent of volunteers, is seeking funding for their education to employment project to continue their critical work in offering English language training and resources to Ukrainian families fleeing the devastating invasion of their country. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated January 25th from Don Tarrant of the Parkland Ukrainian Family Fund requesting a letter supporting their application for a Kia Communities in Motion grant to assist with their education and employment project. Further be it resolved, the Council extends a heartfelt welcome to the people of Ukraine who come to Dauphin in the hopes of finding safety, security, and peace in our community, and approves a letter supporting the Ukrainian Family Fund in their application to continue their humanitarian work with Ukrainian families immigrating to Dauphin. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas the Community Service Recovery Fund is a $400 million investment from the Government of Canada to support charities and nonprofits as they focus on how to adapt their organizations for pandemic recovery. And whereas the Dauphin and District Candy Van Association provides an essential service and meets the transportation needs of persons who require specialized transit service in and around the Dauphin area. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated February 7th from Lori Bremner, a coordinator of finance for the Dauphin District Candy Van Association, requesting a letter supporting the organization's application to the Community Service Recovery Fund for a grant to convert a new van into an accessible vehicle to support the transport of riders with disabilities. Further be it resolved that Council appreciates the Handy Van Association's commitment to providing safe, reliable, and affordable transportation for the mobility impaired and approves a letter supporting their application to the Community Fund for the grant to assist in this accessibility conversion. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? None? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that bylaw 1-2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to regulate the proceedings and conduct of council and communities thereof, be now read a second time. Questions, comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And now the following motion, again, moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that bylaw 1-2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to regulate the proceedings and conduct of council and committees thereof, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager. This requires a recorded vote, so I'll just go around the table. Councillor Sobring, in favor. Councillor Deputy Mayor Lachlan, yes. Councillor Stakilo, yay. Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Ray and Councillor Daly, and Mayor Bosiak also. So the motion is carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that bylaw 2-203, bylaw of the City of Dauphin to govern the organization of the City of Dauphin and the committees thereof, now be read a second time. Questions, comments? All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none. One is carried. And be it resolved that bylaw 2-2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to govern the organization of the City of Dauphin and the committees thereof, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager. This is also a recorded vote, so go around the table. Councillor Sobring, Councillor Deputy Mayor, yes. Councillor Stakilo, Bellemare, Ray, Daly. Thank you, and carried. Thank you very much. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan and seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that all expenses will be borne by the city for council and senior administration to attend the event invitations listed below. That's the Association of Manitoba Municipalities Annual General Insurance Renewal Meeting, February the 22nd. the Manitoba Association of Regional Recyclers Recycling and Waste Management webinar, March 2nd and 9th, and the Association of Manitoba Municipalities City Caucus on April the 4th, 2023. Questions, comments? All those in favor, please indicate. Thank you. Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the Council's reports for the regular Council meeting of February 13th, 2023. We'll start over here. I'm going to mess things up a little bit. We're going to start Councillor Bellemare. Yeah, right out of the chute. I know you got a
Not
new
even-
Apple product.
Not
so you
even
have to-
starting on the outside edges here. Wow.
There you
go. Okay, for council work, I attended council meeting on the 23rd of January and planning and priorities on the 6th of February. And on the 8th, I was on a virtual meeting with the Dauphin and Area Welcoming Community Coalition. And during that meeting, we discussed initiatives to welcome and settle newcomers to our region, plus their needs such as housing, transportation, and good lighting for walking routes. For community events, I attended the Derailers Appreciation event on February the 3rd, where over 200 people were gathered to be thanked by the derailers and to celebrate what's been accomplished so far. So big congratulations, because it's been an awesome thing of what they've done. The 9th, I attended City Hall for an I Love to Read event featuring our own Martine, who captured our attention with the skillful reading, so that was pretty cool. And just a reminder that this weekend, Louis Riel Day celebrations are coming up, and there are many things happening. So you can check the Northwest Métis Council website for events and all days. All 4 days, there's different things happening in different regions, plus they're advertising in the Herald. And on Monday, there is an event at Northgate at 11, and snowshoeing in Clear Lake as part of the Rotary Race RMNP initiative. And there's events at Fort Dauphin Museum in the afternoon. So lots for people to do this weekend. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. January 23rd, I attended our last regular council meeting. On the 24th at noon, I was present at the Active Living and Transportation Committee meeting. And I'd like to announce that Bike Week will take place in the city of Dauphin from June 5th to the 11th. And on June 5th, that's when we are having our Bike to Work school / school day, which will put some businesses in competition with each other, hopefully in the city. And there's going to be more activities to be announced later as we approach June. Later that afternoon, we met in council chambers with Urban Systems to review our city plan. On the 25th, we had our rec committee meeting at the rec center, and the 2 new boilers for the pool will be installed this month. January 27th, I joined the mayor and a large number of city staff at Northgate Trail to participate in the Fat Bike team building, which was more of a workout than I had initially thought it was going to be, but it was fun. February 6th, I attended the Planning and Priorities meeting here at City Hall, and on the 7th, as we discussed, I attended a 1-day emergency measures training session with the mayor and the city manager. I found this session to be very informative, especially when we got a chance to work through the flood scenario with the other attendees. And being a new member to this committee, it gave me a much better feel for all the actions that are involved if a disaster were to occur. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. Councillor Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I attended the last regular meeting on January 23rd, and then I was off to Winnipeg for a 3-day conference for the 32nd Disaster Management Conference. It's the largest disaster management conference in Canada. It was a tremendous event, as usual, very impactful speakers, a lot of really informative workshops, and of course, a lot of networking opportunities. There was 450 delegates in attendance. I sent out a report earlier today to all council just sort of giving an overview of what I took in and my information that I took, and welcome anybody who wants further details to ask. On February 2nd, I met with a couple of members of the Northwest Métis Council to do a little brainstorming session on possible shared projects between City Council or the City of Dauphin and Northwest Métis Council on social events or like social issues and things we can do to assist with improvement of safety and well-being in the city. Sort of in lead up to the safety and well-being committee startup, hopefully soon. I also attended the Derailers Appreciation Night at Salah, and it was a tremendous evening. I knew there was a lot of work being done there, but that was impressive. That was it was a good thing to see the depth and effort that was put in there. February 6th, attended the P&P meeting, and that's about it for until today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. Deputy Mayor Emma Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So for Student Council, we had a meeting on February 2nd, and we discussed the remainder of the year. So we will be having another food drive in March. And then we're also working to fundraise for a barbecue for the school, as we had to, and one was stolen and the other was broken. So that's what we're looking to fundraise for. Our next meeting is February 15th. I will attend the North Parkland Area Council virtual meeting later tonight, along with a 2022 Safe Grad meeting also later tonight. And the Clippers High School rugby has commenced for the 2023 season. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You got Deputy Mayor Loughlin's attention. Councillor Sticilo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, January 23rd, regular council meeting. On January 25th, as Councillor Ray mentioned, there's a rec board meeting. I was in attendance for that. And it's just good to see all the activity going on in terms of recreation in our community. A lot of events happening and events coming up that are scheduled. Obviously to the winter sports like hockey and provincials that are coming up, as well as tournaments and such. On January 27th, I was in attendance here at City Hall to have a meet and greet with Wob Canoe. Although the mayor did most of the socializing and arm twisting at the meeting there, but yeah, it was just a casual meet and greet, so it was good to get out for that. And then on February 8th, I participated in a City Hall tour along with the mayor. We hosted Madame Baudin's grade 2-3 class from École McNeil. And I just want to say thank you to the Deputy City Manager for finding time and coordinating and leading the tour. It's always fun to have students come to City Hall to hear what it's all about here. But of course, this one was even more special as it was my daughter Adeline's class. So that was fun. And that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. Deputy Mayor Loughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, kind of quiet. January 23rd, the regular council meeting here at City Hall. On the 24th, I as well attended the planning and priorities meeting, the city planning meeting that was here with Urban Systems. Planning and priorities was on February the 6th here at City Hall. On the 27th, two things. Obviously, the get together with NDP leader Wob Canoe here at City Hall with a number of people. Ron Kostishyn was there as well. I'm looking forward to the meeting with Heather Stephenson and Brad Mikuleski when they get around to reserving their time with us. And on the evening of the 27th, I was at Dauphin Kings Ukrainian. I just want to say congrats to CNUF and the Kings for putting on another very well-attended event. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Councillor Sobering.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since the last meeting, I attended the city planning with urban systems, which I found to be a really great presentation, and I think it'll be a really good document moving forward. Earlier that afternoon, I also attended the Active Living and Transportation Committee meeting with Councillor Ray. And with urban systems, we did explore the next section of bike lane that's going to be built over the summertime, connecting ACC to the existing route. And so they've done a lot of work and presented an engineering plan, which was really well received. I also attended the Travel Manitoba meeting that was hosted at the Best Western Hotel. It was a really great meeting, and like the Mayor Boziak mentioned, they identified several of the city's assets. I know the derailers, Northgate Multi-Use Trail Network featured heavily in those plans, but as well as our several festivals. So it feels like a lot of the meetings and the activities and economic development, it's all being tied together quite nicely. And probably the highlight was the Dauphin Derailers Volunteer Appreciation Evening, which I also attended. And yeah, it's been a long journey in building that system out. I got to volunteer in some of the earlier projects and along the way, and it's provided no end of hard work, but really enjoyable and really gratifying. So I really commend the Dauphin Derailers on that project, especially. That ends my report.
And for those of you that weren't in attendance, Councillor Sobring was involved in one of the videos and giving everyone in the room an update on how to pour concrete, and did a pretty spectacular job of looking very important with a concrete trowel and in hand. So very well done, Councillor Sobring. Mike or Lisa, is there anything you'd like to add from administrative side? I'd just like to finish then by saying that, again, February is a Like to Read month, and I know that there's been several activities occurring in the community. I know that the Rotary Club has been very involved. There's been some activity at the Watson Arts Center. I had a couple of exhausting sessions at a couple of the elementary schools in town, and I appreciate teachers. Councillor Bellemare, Councillor Ray, thank you for your service. Very well done. As well, I just wanted to add a little bit about the Travel Manitoba event that Councillor Sobring acknowledged, in that one of the consultants that Travel Manitoba engaged in an exercise to evaluate our community was Mary Agnes Welch, who's a fairly well-known and established consultant and has done a lot of work in the tourism business. And it was very, very interesting where her summary report back to us like nailed our community from my point of view, and our gaps, our shortcomings, but also all of the opportunities and things that we have in our favor. So it was a very, very motivating session. I don't know if Councillor Sobring you'd agree. It was extremely motivating to see the potential and the organizations that have been working together. Some with city support, some with a little bit less of our support, but in the same token, trying to make Dauphin a great place to be. So I think that was very well done, and I know economic development and the rest of the organizations involved are going to be pursuing that with great vigor. Also, I just wanted to note, I attended a meeting today that was very, very interesting. It was actually facilitated by the MP, Dan Mazer, after discussions that the Chamber of Commerce and myself and a few others had with him regarding Riding Mountain National Park and the possibilities of development of trails on the north side of the park. And so it was very heartening to be involved in that discussion today, particularly because of the three Indigenous communities that were involved in the discussions and their interest in helping us and others pursue the establishment and development of the connected loop, the 51 kilometers that are proposed to be attached to the 26 kilometers that we have now up at Northgate. And so it was very heartening, and there was some follow-up. There was myself representing the city, the Chamber of Commerce is on the call, obviously MP Mazer, several First Nation community representatives, and Decipher, Alec Mann and Mel Stefania were also present on the call. So it really got us going, and I think there's going to be some great stuff coming out of that initiative and our work with trail development on the north side of the park. And then just to finish off, I know that Councillor Daly's the captain of the Dauphin Penguins. The city team, I know Teddy, Councillor Ray is there, and I don't know who else may have joined the team, but the coldest night of the year is coming up on February the 25th, and I know any of the funds raised through that initiative will be going to the Dauphin Friendship Center, so I encourage anyone to contribute sponsorship or participate in that event. And I know that Councillor Daly will be doing some hardcore marketing of that over the next 10 days, won't you, Councillor Daly, to promote the Dauphin Penguins?
Absolutely.
There
And
we go.
You will be the lead penguin based on the way you're walking.
Thank you very much for that insight. With that, I'd like to call for the question then of that the reports all be accepted as presented. Any further comment? All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed, none, carried. Thank you. And I'd like to move by Councillor Ray and seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that council meeting be recessed at 5:50 p.m. All those in favor?